got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat. Yo, grew my hair, took the grill out. Think it's time to put it back in. Trying to get into that big house, turn the crib into the mansion. Needed something with that big bounce. You know I had to hit Jackson. Aaron Rodgers with the quick routes. I'm with the gang, we packing. We on the field at Lambo. Might peel in a Lambo. Running drills in my camo. They know what the M stand for. Still got fam in Hawaii, yeah. Couple fans in the lobby, yeah. Couple grand in my pocket, yeah. Couple grams of wasabi, yeah. Eye it up, no glasses. Light it up, no matches. Wife it up, no ratchets. Might turn my wife to an actress. And we gon' make a movie, no Kim K. Give a fuck about what your friends say. I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
I'm just sticking to the code, I keep it so G. She asked me what I smoke, I'm smoking OG. I don't fool with too many, only catch me 4 deep. Gotta stay away from snakes, swear these people so creep. I've been grinding for a minute, many labels so sleep. These rappers drop a song, be hot for about a week. I put Gucci on my toes, I keep some cold feet. I ain't paying for no hoes, you niggas know me. I'm about to body the beat. I keep me a hottie with me. She wanna for a fee. Give me that for free. Keep me some money on me. Smoking the gas, keep. You with me, sheesh. But need cheap keep.
I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Mafia, Bitcoin, get another drop down into the range. Are we about to break down to $75,000 to $74,000, or are we going to hold this range and get a bigger bounce to the upside? We're going to be covering that in tonight's live stream. Shout out to anybody who saw the market update that I dropped not too long ago. We took a look at some of these key levels. We're going to take a look at some of the trades. I'm going to show you guys some of the signs that we're seeing on Market Cypher B that could potentially be pointing to some upside. However, we do still have those higher time frames looking for more downside. So as we've been talking about for the past couple of days or even the past couple of weeks, any bounces to the upside, guys, I am still in the long term. Even if it's a bigger bounce, we have to be looking for those lower highs and continuations down. But I'm going to try to break down the charts for you guys and give you my best bet on where I think price is going to go. But shout out to the CandleMafia. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We got Nirvana in the chat. Shout out to CJ, Uncle Jesse in the chat. He's our like police guy. So if he asks you to smash that like button, make sure you respect him. And we don't care if you touch it creepily fondle. We don't care what you do to the like button. Just hit it. And if you hit it, make sure you hit it an odd amount of times. We got Gordon in the chat, says ran from Crypto Banter, says that the bull market is over. Is the bull market over here, guys? We've been talking about this for quite a while. I will try to give you guys my best thoughts on that, although I have covered it many times. We'll see what happens. I do think maybe, there's two kind of things that could play out here. I'll get into them in just a minute, but let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. We got F-Bomb in the chat. Shout out to F-Bomb. We got Crypto Storm in the chat, said bloodbath. Shout out to Crypto Storm. And guys, listen, if it is a bear market, right? If we are going into a bear market, just understand, those bear markets are just like bull markets for us because we can make money whether price goes up or down. So if there's a time to learn how to trade, that time is probably right now. So shout out to everybody in the chat learning how to trade and, dedicating your time to actually developing this skill that literally has an infinite salary cap, or should I just say no salary cap whatsoever. But shout out to Crimson. What is going on? Good to see you in here. Said got a long on Sol with liquidation at $29.99. Not selling it. Let's go. Shout out to Crimson. Welcome in, bro. We got Flat Smack in the chat. Said bull market dips are exciting. Shout out to Flat Smack. That is kind of how I am viewing this stuff. If you guys have watched the channel for any amount of time over the past couple of months, that's kind of what we're looking at, right? I've been looking for a drop down to 80K for quite some time, right? Like even before we got the push down from the overall range, before we hit 110K, we were looking for a potential drop to 80. Now, it doesn't mean that the bear market's definitely not happening right now or the top is not in, but, this is really nothing, super, super scary in my own personal opinion. So shout out to Samuel. What is going on, man? Welcome in. Let's see. We got GT in the chat. Welcome in, bro. We got Rob the Crypto Stop, Darren Does Things, Crypto Anon, Crypto Billy, Dave Digital, Tyler Durden. You guys know who the mods are. Show them some love in the chat. And with all that out of the way, guys, don't forget to smash that like button. If we get 1,000 likes on tonight's live stream, we will be giving away this pen. We will be giving away this pen, guys, because it's the bear market. No, I'm just kidding. We'll give away, let's see. We gave away 5 Frankie Candles hats. I don't think we got the discounted premium Discord membership. I don't think we hit 1,000 likes. So we hit 1,000 likes on tonight's live stream. We'll give away a free, not discounted, a free month of the premium Discord to one lucky CandleMafia member. Tomorrow, we will be doing those giveaways tomorrow. So shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Codon. Welcome in, bro. But yeah, guys, with all that being said, shout out to Pennywise in the chat. Everybody's favorite friendly clown. At least we think he's friendly. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump on into the chat, guys, and see if we can figure out this next move on Bitcoin. Let's get into it. I feel like I saw you guys 5 minutes ago if you just came from the market update. Let's see. Shout out to Humza said, wait, what? I want the pen. Give me that. Shout out to Humza. We're actually going to send that to you right now. Hit us up and we'll send you out this pen. It's actually a very special pen. It's a BIC. I don't think a lot of people know what these are. These are like super limited edition. BIC. It's like a secret. I think it's like some European company. They're very exotic and very expensive. But anyway, guys, let's go ahead and jump on in. Let's see. He's friendly to us, Frankie. Shout out to Uncle Jesse. So yeah, shout out to Pennywise. He's a friendly clown to us, but only the Mafia. If you're not in the Mafia, I don't know if he's so nice. Let's see. Pretty sure we did hit that like goal before the live ended. We were at 950. Shout out to Tony D. So maybe we did hit it. Well, if we hit 1,000 likes on tonight's live stream, we'll give away another free month of the premium Discord to another CandleMafia member if we hit that like goal. If not, 1. If we did, 2. There we go, baby. Let's get it. Shout out to TY. Said, bro, did you learn from Tino? No, I did not learn from Tino, although he probably could teach me some stuff. I'd be willing to learn from Tino. He's a smart guy and a great trader. So shout out to Tino from Traders Reality. But yeah, shout out to TY. I did not learn from Tino. But yeah, shout out to Tino. We should do a collab soon. Shout out to Tino. I'm not gonna. I have something I wanted to bring up, but I'm not gonna bring it up. Yeah, no, I won't say anything because we have nothing. But shout out to Tina from Traders Reality. That's all I'll say. But yeah, Bic is French. Shout out to Shunson. There we go. Rare French pens, guys. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump on into the price action here. Now, if you guys came from the market update, let me go ahead and clean this stuff up just a little bit. I'll start off here on the lower time frames. I usually go higher time frames down to the lower time frames. We're going to start here. I'm going to hide the... Oh, wow. We are like profile within profile within profile. I just got confused. Okay, so let me go ahead and we're going to start locally here. Now, as you guys know, yesterday, unfortunately, I was unable to go live yesterday. But we did drop that market update where we were looking at this volume profile, guys. And if you watched the market update from a little while ago, I dropped it, I think it was like 3 o'clock. If you guys had seen that video, obviously we were kind of just touching on what we talked about yesterday, right? Which is basically that we had this local volume profile, value area low sitting at 78.8, and then the POC sitting up here at about 81,117, and the value area high sitting at $82,705. Now, we were approaching up here, trying to get a breakout yesterday, approaching the value area high and trying to break out. However, guys, we know when price deviates above these value areas, this is typically where we're looking for at least a move back into the range and ascend back down to the POC. We deviate again, right? We come back down to the POC. We tried to break out again, and then this is just a deviation, and then obviously we did come back into the range. And again, I don't know how many of you guys saw the market update, but obviously we did actually have a short setup here. Now, this is technically not the short that I'm sitting in because I did not get the entry, but I did take a short here at the value area high. I will show that in just a second. But just to kind of talk about this, right? We knew we had this liquidity sitting up here above this high. We swept it. And oftentimes, guys, when we take that liquidity, it is very common to see, not only a aggressive drop to the downside, but oftentimes, when you sweep that liquidity, it kind of, in my experience, right, like it shows that we have swept that liquidity, and oftentimes you do get another move to the downside, which is why I was willing to take the short here towards the value area high. And we knew, right, as we were bing-bonging around up here, if we were able to come back down, break below this value area high / anchored VWAP. This is where we were looking for the breakdown to the POC. And as of right now, if we cannot get back above this POC, I am going to expect some turbulence down here. But if we cannot reclaim that POC in a big way, we are going to be looking down towards the value area low of the range, right? Sitting here at about $78,716. Bada boom. Let me get those off the chart here. And you can just see, right? Like the second we get in here, guys, the volume profiles are absolutely goated. It's the same thing on the long position from down here, right? We catch the key levels. We get the long entry. We get above that value area low. We look to go to the POC. I don't even believe we were looking at this volume profile. Maybe we were at the time. Go up to the POC, right? You get a little turbulence, but eventually you do make it back up to the high. So this is just simple volume profile trading, right? And even on that long position here, let me see if I can pull that up real quick, right? So we were long from down here at the value area low. We get the move back up to the high. I am now fully out of that long position, guys. I took profits up here, and then I wound up stopping out in profit. So I'm completely out of that trade in profit, obviously. And then we just deviate above, guys. We lose that value area high. We are looking for the high probability of getting that move to the POC. And now we are potentially looking to lose that point of control. Let me see. Do I have the... Where is it? I think it's in here. There it is, right? There's the short setup. This was the original SFP setup. My entry is closer to the value area high. Like I said, I did not catch that liquidity sweep up here, although that was technically this setup that was in the Discord and wouldn't have gotten stopped out unless you moved your stop loss to entry. But either way, you would have gotten stopped out in profit. Pretty beautiful situation. But guys, as I've been saying for the past few weeks, or I should say past few days, past couple of weeks maybe, just kind of looking to scalp in and out of these trades, guys. I am jumping in, grabbing my bag, and jumping out of the market. And again, if this were to run and continue to the upside, which was definitely a possibility, we actually looked at that possibility yesterday with the larger volume profile that was sitting above us. Let me pull that up real quick as well, right? We have that, or no, not this one. Sorry. We got mad volume profiles on the chart here, right? So, at this point, right, we have this larger value area low above us sitting at about 83,500. And, when you're looking at price here, right, obviously you have the local range. It's literally played out perfectly, right? Because we're in this long position, right? If we did wind up coming up and we were able to break above this value area high, this is where we could have looked for the bigger breakout into the golden pocket POC, sitting at around 88 to about $89,500. But we know that these value area highs are 100% going to be resistant until proven otherwise. And that was kind of the pickle that we were in yesterday. We were kind of like slamming our head, and then last night we were kind of trying to pick up the get the move to the upside into this value area low, and then once we're unable to get above that, we come back down, get accepted back into this range. That's what gives us the trigger to potentially look for that move to the downside, right? Really wish I was in that SFP. I would be a little bit more in profit here, but once you get, I always say this, right? I did not invent the volume profiles. I did not invent trading the volume profiles, right? A lot of people will call this an 80% setup. Once you get back into the value area, below that value area high, I don't have statistics myself to give you guys like, hey, this is a 80% chance this plays out or not. But a lot of people call this an 80% setup, right? Once you get accepted into that range, it's a very, very, very high probability you go back to that POC, lose the POC, very high probability of coming down to the low. So right now, I am holding that short position. I'll pull it back up here just so you guys can kind of visualize it. And obviously, that was a setup from the Discord, but I'm going to kind of bring up the position that I'm actually in, which is pretty much from the value area high, right? So short from the value area high, already got the POC. We're losing the POC. The next stop for this, in my own personal opinion, guys, is going to be the value area low of the range. We have this golden pocket, which is an honorable mention, right? I do like the value area low a little bit better for two reasons, right? Number one, once you get below that POC, right, like it's a very high probability we're going to fill that range in full, just like we did on the way to the upside. Oftentimes, you'll see the same thing happen to the downside. This is also confluent with the 786 Fibonacci retracement when pulled from the low to the high. So that kind of gives us this weird kind of level here, which is the kind of naked golden pocket sitting at about $79,614. So I am aware of the level, but again, I would really prefer to see that drop down to the value area low. And this is something that, we look at all the time, guys. You can have those local levels of support, but more often than not, you are going to see that volume profile fill in full, right? And we've seen that happen on Solana, right? Like, I'll just bring this up really quickly on our, oh God, I'm gonna have to try to find this actual chart. Where we at? This is not it. Please tell me I have this chart open. There it is. So yeah, like even on Solana, right? Like I don't like calling for these lower levels, but we just know, right? Once you wind up losing that PLC, I'll come up to a higher time frame, right? Once you wind up losing that value area high, you're likely to go to the POC. Once you lose that POC, very likely to go to the low. And you can even see here on Solana, we started getting a little bit of like little bounces here, right? But that's nothing to write home in my opinion, right? Because when that value area low is that close and you're below that POC, you might get some bounces, but more often than not, you will see that volume profile fill in full, and then you go from the low to the POC to the high, from the high, below the value area high, down to the POC, down to the value area low, right? It plays out time and time again. That's why I love this trading strategy so much. But with all that being said, these are the local levels that I'm looking at, right? Let me see if I can pull up the... There's a short position pretty much sitting at entry here. Now, you might wonder, like, what are you long off of here, Frankie? Like, you just showed us, right? You're kind of just floating in the middle of the volume profile. I thought you don't trade out of off the middle of the volume profile, and you would be 100% correct, guys. I do not like to take trades in the middle of the range, right? Now, why am I in this position? Well, if we come on over here to a, not even a lower time frame, but if we actually just extend this same exact profile all the way to our current price action, because as you guys know, I use the volume profiles to find the areas of balance in the market, right? The areas where price kind of finds a fair value. And, I look at the previous volume profile, but as soon as you get back into this range, you can actually extend this profile all the way to the right because we've now re-entered the area of balance. And that actually does move our value area low up to right where we're bouncing from, right? So I'm going to pull up this other chart. This is that same profile just pulled to the current price action. And you guys can see that we did come here into a value area low / 786 Fibonacci retracement. And we did wind up getting a little bit of a bounce here. So that was kind of the thought process for this long position. And I am not necessarily, guys, I will say this. We're going to go over the medium time frames. There's some things on the chart calling for more downside, and I'm going to talk about that scenario and exactly what I'm looking to play out. But, when I look at this, I am handling this long position as a lackluster bounce to potentially put in a lower high and then continue out of the range, at least to come back down to the larger value area low, sitting here at about 753, right? So I am expecting this. If this long does play out, let me hide this position just to clean up the chart, right? I am going to anticipate this to be some kind of a lackluster bounce for a lower high and a continuation down. Number one, to fill the bottom of the volume profile. And then if we break this 786 value area low, guys, this is 100% the key level that we must hold, because if we do not hold this, going to be looking for that bigger drop to the downside, and I'll talk about those key levels in just a second, but, the idea here for this long, guys, is 100%. I am looking for this, if we're lucky enough to have this play out, right? Look for this to come into this local golden pocket 786 retracement between 81.5 and about 81.8. And I'm going to be, I might even lock in profit before that, but, I might even just get stopped out of this, to be honest with you, right? Like my favorable scenario is a move to the downside. And I'm going to show you guys exactly why. But I know it gets confusing on I don't get it, Frankie. Like, you're long, you're short. Like, are you bullish? Are you bearish? Right? And I will just say, like, my main scenario here is that this downtrend is likely to continue down based off of a few very specific things. But that scalp long, I just want you guys to understand that this is not for no reason, right? We have come down to a local level of key support. And it's all about context, right? Like I'm not looking to take this up to $1 million. I am 100% looking for this to be a lackluster retrace for another drop to the downside, because if you look down here and you take a look at that money flow, guys, on the 30-minute is now in the red. It's actually coming up pretty aggressively right now, which is interesting. But, money flow crossover into the red with our 8-hour red dot printing. This is not the best case here, guys. Oftentimes, that market cipher B116 strategy, when we get that 8-hour red dot with that 30-minute money flow crossover into the red, that is oftentimes where we see that continuation of the trend to the downside. And there's a couple other reasons, just based off price action and key levels, why I would anticipate that next move down. Like scalp long is a scalp, right? Like if it even winds up coming up to this fib, I'm going to be locking in profits and anticipating lower highs. If we continue up, we make a little bit of extra money, we'll take some more profit. But these are like really the key levels that I'm going to be looking for this to come up to. So golden pocket at 81,444, 786 sitting at about 81,880, right? So that's kind of like key level number one. And then if we get above there, I'll just be looking for this local profile in terms of a volume profile, right? We'll come up here, flip that 786. We look to come to the POC, larger golden pocket, get above that golden pocket. We have the 786 value area high. But anyhow, I am for sure going to be anticipating another move to the downside. I can't guarantee it, but just based off that 8-hour red dot with the 30-minute money flow crossover, that's one market cipher B116 strategy. And if we come on over here, you have the 16-hour red dot printing. There's the 8-hour. But yeah, you have the 16-hour red dot printing on top of the 1-hour money flow, now crossing over into the red. So again, the thought for this long is like, hey, we got a 1-hour green dot. We got the 3-hour looking to come up. We have the 2-hour. Come on. We got the 2-hour VWAP coming to the upside looking for a green dot. So, the green and the red dots, guys, gives us the ebbs and flows in the market, right? Like the noise, the ups, the downs, the ups, the downs, the ups, the downs, the ups, the downs, right? But the money flow is what indicates the overall trend. And right now, if we get these green dots, we can expect an ebb or a flow to the upside. However, that money flow, if it continues trending out, on our key time frames like the 30-minute and the 1-hour, which is confluent with those higher time frame red dots, right? Like maybe you get the little bounce up and then this money flow continues into the red, right? Once you get that red dot, that money flow might come deeper into the red, continuing with the lower high and the lower low. And I'll be honest with you, even the momentum waves, right? Like even these momentum waves, although I wouldn't necessarily be, let's come to the 30-minute, right? The 30-minute momentum waves here do look like we can at least get a drop down to that value area low. And the reason this looks good to me is because, when we see this momentum wave like this, we can anticipate that if that red dot prints and that money flow comes back out, the momentum wave is likely to do something like that. And with the key support down below here, if we put that lower low in, maybe on the golden pocket, maybe the 786, maybe the value area low, we could potentially put in a bullish divergence. So I will be looking for bounces here. However, guys, I am going to be looking for bounces, but if we do not get bullish confirmation here, guys, this is the key level that we must remain above. If we come down and we bounce off the value area low, right? Maybe we come back down. I'm okay deviating below this range, right? If we deviate below the volume profile, we'll treat it just like we did down here. We're going to be looking for those bullish confirmations for long positions back up into the range, and we will make money on that move. But if we do not get those bullish confirmations, guys, and we wiggle down here and we get stuck underneath this volume profile, I am going to, and more specifically the 786, right? Because again, this is pulled from this low all the way to the high. We got to hold this, right? Because if we do come down and we wind up losing that 786, this is the doorway, in my opinion, to be coming down here between about, I would say, $75,000 to $74,000, or 75 to 70, $76,000 to $75,000, and potentially even lower, guys, because we do, as you know, right, we've been looking at this low down here for quite some time. We took the long position when we came down here at first. Let me actually pull up the key levels real quick. Bada boom, right? We had all this liquidity. It was sitting below this wick. We took it, but what did we do here? We front ran all of this support here, guys. We front ran this daily naked point of control. We front ran the 786. We front ran the weekly naked point of control, which I have been dying to just readjust this. Let me just make sure I'm not missing any. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and move this up here, right? So that weekly naked point of control is coming in at about 75K, right? So like I do think if we are indeed going to see that money flow play out as we would expect, and we get a lackluster retracement to the upside and we roll back over, this is our key level number one between, come down to get the accurate level, between 78.8 and 78.250. We lose 78.250, guys. That is where I'm looking to come take these lows from Monday and we have a little bit of liquidity left down here. I don't have the heat maps pulled up, unfortunately. We've shown them many a times, but we do still have a little liquidity left down here, and I just don't love that we front ran all this support. Like, is it impossible to just continue up without tapping this support? Yes, but just based off the higher time frame money flow, we can't forget 2-day money flow has crossed over into the red. We lost our green dot that we were printing yesterday. This actually didn't look too bad. We had the green dot printing, a slight bull div printing on the 2-day, which again, not necessarily calling for all-time highs, but that could cause a significant ebb or flow to the upside before putting in lower highs and continuing down. But based off this 2-day money flow, based off the daily money flow, right? Like, all of this money flow is coming out, and that's what makes us anticipate the continuation to the downside. So not only do you have the higher time frames fighting against the big move up, but you also have, the 16-hour and the 1 hour, the lower time frames as well, are calling for a continuation down. And on top of the fact that we have the liquidity sitting down below and all of those front ran key levels of support, I would have felt a lot better about the big long position if we came in and tapped the actual support. And just, I don't know, more often than not, when we look at these untapped levels, guys, we do very often come down and visit them. So, locally, this range is still going to be what I'm looking at. Lose that level. Again, like, if you're going to mark off any levels on your chart, mark off 78,250. That is the key level that, if lost, we're going to get that next big drop to the downside into these key levels of support. I would anticipate some kind of a bounce from here. Whether we come down and we bounce off the daily naked, whether we bounce off the 786, bounce off the weekly, we'll have to assess the situation once we get down here. But this is definitely, locally, I will be looking for like scalps and day trades down here. But if we lose that, I'm looking for my next big bounce down here. Once again, I know I've been saying a lot, but I just want to make sure you guys have these levels between about $76,500 and about $75,000. Now, this is not the end of the road here, guys. Again, this is, a decent bit of support here. I am 100% going to be looking for some kind of a reaction here. However, we all know I don't want to spend too much time on it because we've covered it so many times in the past. But I will just go ahead and I'll show the dreaded folder. If I'm showing this, I'm sorry. But obviously, guys, we do have the next key levels. If we do wind up losing those that $75,000 level, I do think we are probably going to be pretty quickly on our way to this golden pocket at about 72K. And to be quite honest, there is not a lot of confluence here, right? All we have is the golden pocket, or the top of the golden pocket. Underneath that is really where the confluence comes in, right? This is kind of just like a lonesome golden pocket, right? Like, there's nothing really on top of this level other than that top of the golden pocket. But once we come on down here, value area high, POC, and we also have some naked points of controls in here as well. We have a daily naked point of control. We have a weekly naked point of control just below the POC. But really, again, I can't ignore this level, but there's not a lot of confluence. So if we do, and just on top of the fact that, like, you might want to come back down and test these highs, and I'll get into that a little bit more in just a second, but I just want to make sure you guys have all these key levels. Locally, obviously, this range here. We lose that 786. I am looking down to between 76 and, or I'm sorry, 76 and $75,000. I don't know why I keep messing that up. And then if we wind up losing this weekly naked point of control, very likely drop to at least $72,000. But in my opinion, at that point, it would make a lot of sense to eventually just work our way down, right? Like, say we don't get the bounce here, we just wind up breaking down, or maybe we do get a bounce, right? Like, we'll have to assess the situation. Like, we'll likely know what's probably going to happen here once we come down here. It's a little hard to front run at the moment, but if we do come down here, wiggle around, right? We lose this level. I would really be looking at this zone here between about 70,200 and 67,270 as the next major key level of support. You have your POC, your daily naked point of control, your value area high, you have the bottom of the golden pocket, and you do come back down to retest all of these structural highs from that 7-month consolidation that we were inside of, right? So that's what I'd basically be looking for, if we lose the weekly naked point of control at 75K. But until then, right, like, we're just going to deal with what we have, right? We're just going to sit here and we're going to look at that local range and we're going to scalp this thing for every dang dollar that it's worth. So there you go. Scalp long and short from the high here. Absolutely beautiful. And I'm not going to lie, I showed this on the market update. Like, we look for this stuff for a reason, guys, right? Like, just letting the Mafia know in the premium Discord, like, hey, guys, if we do wind up losing this value area high, we're also losing the anchored VWAP. Once we get below there, very high probability we at least make it down to the POC. And then if we lose that POC, I'll be looking to come down to that golden pocket. And then again, the value area low in 786 I just showed. And obviously, you guys can see we got below there, dropped to the POC, and now we're potentially losing it on our way to that golden pocket. So this is the range that I'm looking at right now. We're going to scalp this thing till we can't anymore. And let me see here. Bada boom, bada bang. Up to 46 on the long. Let's see. Oh, dang it. I closed out. I'll log into that in a second. But yeah. Give me 1 second here, guys. Let me just log into my other exchange. real quick so I can show the short position as well. Because we can't show the long if we're not going to show the short. Let's see. I'm desperate for a long. Shout out to Niconomics. Shout out to you, brother. Let me just pull this up real quick. Let's see. What about the back test of the last cycle high? Bullish. Shout out to Sammed Man. Let me see if I can pull this up. Bada boom. All right, here we are. And let me get OBS back up. There we go. So you guys should be able to see this now. So up 1,700 on the short, right? Entered right in at that value area high, or right on the loss of that value area high. So not too bad, right? We're holding the short, we're holding the long. I do expect this one to play out a little bit more. Again, going to be looking for that potential bearish retracement, right, for a lower high and a lower low to come down to those value area lows, and then we lose that. We're going to take that low here at $76,500. Again, sweeping that liquidity into the next key levels of support. So we'll see what happens. We're going to monitor this as the price action develops. I don't have a problem with this coming a little bit out of profit to take that long. But again, money flow is definitely more on the side of seeing that continuation down, right? So you heard it here first. We'll see. We could be wrong, right? But I'll be looking for some kind of retracement. And what would I be looking at, right, as far as where that retracement can come up to? Well, very simply put, we can just pull up our other local range here. Right, and I'll just give you guys these levels real quick. Again, I am going to look at this hyper-local fib just because it's I don't know how much power we're going to get on this bounce. Again, I'm much more confident in the short than the long, but I already gave these levels, 81,450 to 81,880, and then we'll see, right? Maybe we just come up to the POC. Golden Pocket 786. If I mark this out, where's it at? Bada boom, pulled from the high to the low. Even if you were to move this to your current high or your more local high, just look at it come up into these fib retracements, right? We don't know if we're going to get the super local rejection or if we're going to come up here to the bigger golden pocket or the bigger 786, but that is why we monitor price at the levels to see if we can get confirmation. So we'll see what happens, right? We're covered on both ends. Pretty nice, right? I was actually in a meeting all morning. I honestly, morning and afternoon. And it was nice. I updated the Discord. I was like, all right, guys, it looks like if we get below that value area high, we can continue down, but we'll see. I'm not going to be on the charts for a while, so I got back to the studio and I was like, all right. I got out of there and I checked my phone. I was like, all right, good, beautiful. Shout out to the volume profiles. They got your back when you can't watch the charts. You could trust them. At least, some would say 80% of the time. Let's see. Shout out to Kajus said, where are you taking profits on the long? There you go. Just showed those levels right there. You kind of front ran me on that question. What if the 30-minute money flow comes back into the green? Shout out to Charts Rider. Listen, if the 30-minute money, I wouldn't be surprised. It's this momentum wave, though, right? Because it's not just the 30-minute money flow. It's also the 1-hour money flow, right? Also coming out. This is not aggressively coming up just yet. And it's not just the 1-hour money flow or the 30-minute money flow. It's the confluence with both of those money flow crossovers and the 8-hour red dot and the 16-hour red dot, right? Both of these things, all of these things come together with confluence, right? If we did not have the confluence of the 16-hour or the 8-hour red dot, I would be more convinced that this 30-minute money flow might fake out into the green. Now, it doesn't make it impossible to fake out. It totally could just step on that. That setup might just not play out, right? Maybe we just get a big move up. But based off the charts, right, based off the way this momentum wave looks, based off the 30-minute money flow, the 1-hour money flow, the 16-hour red dot, the 8-hour red dot, there's a lot of things pointing to the downside. And we are just generally in more of a bearish scenario here with the high time frame money flow coming out. And, I don't want to really cover this a lot. I covered this a lot this week. A lot of people, is it the bear market? Is it the bear market? It's really hard to tell, right? There's never going to be a sign, right? There's never going to be a signal that's just going to, you're going to be able to sell the top. But again, a lot of things have come up that have marked the tops in the past, right? Bearish divergences on the weekly, bearish divergences on the monthly. And to be quite honest, guys, so many. So, we had the meme coin stuff going crazy. Trump drops a meme coin. We have a lot of, bullish news that was coming out. And on top of that, I start getting text messages from friends and family. Should I buy altcoin? Should I buy XRP? What should I do here? Bitcoin's at 100K. Oh, my God. This is very commonly, not necessarily always the top of the bull run, but oftentimes that marks a significant top in the market. But from a structural standpoint here, guys, I can only really give you my opinion on the charts. I could give you my opinion on other stuff as well, but when it comes to being an expert, I would consider myself an expert on the charts. It would make a lot of sense, right? From a chart perspective, guys, it is not impossible to come test these highs and potentially catch support and send it back to the upside. Now, I wouldn't just be longing here anticipating all-time highs. We're really not going to know, and I talked about this not yesterday, but the day before on the live stream. If we do come down here, right, assuming that we're not going to get a bounce off that 786, we're not going to hold any of those key levels down below us. If we do come down here, right, and we do get a retracement, right, which is going to be very likely, right? Everyone's going to get super bearish, right? And even if the bear market is here, most people are going to get bearish right before some kind of a bounce. Even if that is a lower high before the bear market, you don't want to be selling the bottom, or at least I don't want to be selling the bottom. I'm not a financial advisor. You can't just do what some crazy guy on YouTube says. But, if we do get a bounce here, all eyes on Bitcoin, right? Because if we get a significant retracement, everybody's going to start getting really bullish. Everyone's feeling really bad right now. Oh my God, the bear market's here. And when we bounce, guys, that sentiment, mark my words, will flip like a switch. The second we start seeing multiple daily green candles, it's going to be like, oh my God, bull run back on, alt season incoming, which may be the case, but we just don't know. We have to wait for that retracement, because when we start to retrace, we have to understand, right? And again, it depends on how low we go here based on where this fib will be. But if we start bouncing, guys, we really need to pay attention to the areas that are very high probability to give us lower highs and lower lows. Because if we are going to just get some kind of a lackluster retracement, right? Remember, 2-day money flow is crossing over into the red. More often than not, this is going to indicate the continuation to the downside. When we look at this back here, and don't take my word for it, right? Like, go and back test this stuff. Money flows in the red, and we get the big drop down. Everyone's super bearish. We start bouncing again, and this is where everyone's, oh my God, all-time highs, all-time highs, all-time highs. And is that possible? Sure. But when you understand the context of things with a high time frame money flow in the red, making it very likely for a continuation to the downside, what are we going to look for? We're going to look for lower highs and lower lows. Where are the lower highs and lower lows going to come in, or where are the lower highs going to come in? Very likely on a golden pocket 786 retracement. And this is exactly what we were looking for at this current time, for another drop to the downside and a break of structure, which is exactly what we wound up seeing happen. It was just simply based off understanding that when money flow is in the red, we can use that as a filter of whether we should be looking for massive long positions, or if we're better off looking for bigger shorts on lower highs for continuation down. So it's a very similar situation. And, again, here, we didn't go into a bear market, obviously, but we did continue down. So when we do get a bounce, if we do get a bounce, right, hopefully we will. I would think there's a very high chance we're going to get some kind of a bigger retracement. Everyone's going to get super bullish, but we have to be very, very careful. And again, I have to pull these fibs pretty speculatively, right? Because I don't know what level we're going to come down and test, and that will move these Fibonacci retracements. But when we get the bounce and we start to get a big reversal, we're going to be looking at these levels. If I had to estimate where they would be about, again, these are speculative. This is if we do come down and put a low in at 71.2, right? Let's just say we come down to 70K even, right? Like just for fun. That would put this local fib, or closer fib, at about 85.5, 786 at about 89.795, right? So that would be one big level to look for a lower high and a continuation down. If we continue back up in a bigger way, then we can obviously pull this down to 70K, right? And that would be coming in at around 94 to about $101,000. Now, I don't know if we're going to come all the way up into that macro fib, like all the way up here. And, if we come back over to 2021, you can actually see this, right? Let me just zoom in here, right? So, we come down in a big way. We finally get a big retracement. Like even here, we got a little retracement. But, if you're just pulling from like massive highs to lows, right? Like there's no guarantee you're going to come up and tap that fib. But what happens, right? You come down and you do tap some of your local fibs. So when we get a bounce, guys, when we have a significant low put in and we start getting, multiple green daily candles, again, everyone was calling for 100K here. Everyone was calling for 100K here. I remember it so vividly. Oh my God, 30K is the bottom. We're putting in a higher low, 100K, right? But what happened? We just came in, put in a retest on the Fibonacci retracement. We had the weekly blood diamond money flow coming out, not only on the, other higher daily time frames, but really the big sign here for me personally was the weekly money flow crossover, right? So when we get that bounce, in my personal opinion, what is weekly money flow doing right now? We'll see if we get that green dot first. If we get this next green dot on the weekly, guys, we better pray that this money flow flies back to the upside, because if we get something like this, you bounce, you retrace into some of those lower high levels, the Fibonacci retracements, we start putting in a lower high, and this money flow is just putting in another lower high and continuing down. This would be a huge warning sign for the bear market to come in. This is like one of the big things that we were looking at to call it back here, and it will be the same thing in this current cycle. But we have to wait for the retest, right? We have to wait for the retracement. And again, understand on that bounce, everyone will be bullish. And we will have a bullish scenario. But at the end of the day, if we get that bounce into these levels and that money flow on the weekly is still tanking to the downside, and we could even maybe go up to the 6-day. 6 days probably going to cross over before the weekly, which is getting very close, guys. Like this money flow on the higher time frames, we've been talking about this forever, right? Like it doesn't look good. Obviously, especially on the 2-day, right? Because that's what we were waiting for a long time. See if the 2-day money flow crossover. Really, the first warning sign was the daily when we were sitting up here. The whole reason why we thought it was a high probability of coming down to 80K and potentially the 786 at about 76K was the fact that the daily money flow was continuing out, right? We got the alert here. Like nice early warning sign. Let me change this so you guys can see it a little better. Nice early warning sign, right? Like, hey, guys, we're bouncing here, but money flow is coming to the downside. Very likely you continue that trend down. Right? So it's the same thing on the 2-day, right? 2-day, right? Maybe we settle down. Maybe we get the drop down here, right? But on the retracements, that money flow continues out. We're looking for lower highs, 100%. I'm going to leave it there. Very, very simple. But the big sign, right? If we get a big retracement, like don't fall for just random bullish sentiment, right? You have to understand, like this could be bullish, right? But not if money flow is coming out and you're looking for lower highs, right? Like just a pump in the market is not necessarily bullish. When you have something go up a lot, right, you're gonna, or if you have a market changing trends from a massive uptrend to a massive downtrend, you have to have retracements to put in the lower highs and then the lower lows. A lot of people get bullish on these moves, like I just mentioned back here. Oh my God, we're going back up. Oh my God, we're going back up. But what is your money flow doing? It's all coming out, making it very likely that you're going to get rejections, lower highs, and lower lows, right? So you got to be careful. And in my personal opinion, guys, like that's what I'm going to be looking for, right? Because at the end of the day, technically, we can come down here, retest these highs, and then send it off to new all-time highs, right? Maybe we get, maybe they start cutting rates again or whatever the news event is or the macroeconomic situation is, right? That's going to have a big effect as well. But technically, you can come down here and bounce right off of it. But that doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to do that. In my opinion, everything is going to come down to when we get the retracement, where are we going to get the rejection and what is that high time frame money flow doing on the retracement? Because that is likely where we're going to know, hey, guys, probably going to come into a bear market. But technically, from a chart perspective, guys, coming down here to retest about 70K, even the POC around 67K. Let me just triple check that. Even the POC sitting right here, at around 67.3. Like these are big levels of support, and we have seen retests of structure like this before massive all-time highs. So I can't just call for a guaranteed bear market right now. I have to see what the charts say. I don't just make decisions based off of like price bouncing, right? We want to understand what is the context of that bounce, right? Because if you're coming up to put a lower high in, you can make money on the bounce, right? But you just have to understand that like it's very similar to exactly what we're looking at right here on this local trade, right? That long position, sure, I'm up money, right? We can make a bunch of money here on this little retracement, but if we know it's a high probability of a lower high and a continuation down, we need to know when to get out of that trade, right? We don't just want to hold it and pray it goes to new all-time highs. That is gambling. That is not trading. So yeah, that's my 2 cents, right? Look, kind of locally and macro is kind of the same thing, right? Looking for the lower high and then the lower lows. If we get a massive bounce, we're going to be looking for lower highs and lower lows. But this is going to take time. Like we'll know. We'll have time to assess like, hey, maybe this is the big retracement. Let's start to check out those really dangerous levels that we must get above in order for the bull run to continue. But yeah, just from a simple chart perspective, guys, like coming down to this structure is like not the craziest thing in the world. So yeah. But again, it has a lot to do with a lot of other stuff, right? Like the macroeconomic situation, we could get a black swan. There's so much that controls the price of this market or the moves on this market. Let's see. We're going to get the money flow you have. Shout out to Remy. This is Market Cipher B. Or just Market Cipher. You'll get Market Cipher A and Market Cipher B, and Market Cipher Support and Resistance. But if you want to check it out, MCFrank20 is my discount code. But go to their website. I know they just recently did a 50% discount, which is more than our discount. So if they have a 50% discount, go use that, whatever deal they have going on their site. You'll save way more money. But if they're not doing a deal, you could use our MCFrank20 to save some money. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. My short got scam pumped. Shout out to High Def. It's all right, brother. It's all right. It happens to the best of us. Remember we used to have massive volume spikes? Let's bring those back. Yeah, shout out to BJK. I will tell you this, guys. If we're going to get a big move up, the sentiment is going to change on a dime, right? Like the second you get a move down, everybody's bear market. Every time we get a pump to the upside, it was the same thing back here. I say this all the time. The same thing dropped. The same thing here. Everyone's like, is this the bear market? And I'm like, welcome to crypto. Might be, but very likely it's just turbulence on the move to the upside. And I know the tariffs have a big deal, have a big effect on everything as well. And these things do take time, right? Like hopefully it does wind up being good, but when they're making so many big changes in the government like this, like it's likely to shake stuff up, right? So you have to expect this, and especially with Bitcoin making huge runs like this, it is definitely, especially with the amount of personal text messages that I got. Frankie, should I buy altcoins right now? What is going on? Oh my God, Bitcoin's exploding. Am I late? Am I missing out? A lot of that stuff happened. The literal president Launched a meme coin, people calling me left and right. Oh my God, should I buy? That's usually a big warning sign for a pullback, right? And again, if you look at my Bitcoin 2025 prediction video, I mentioned when we were sitting, I think over here is when I made that video, I was mentioning how I would be expecting some kind of an eventual pullback to $80,000, which is literally where we're sitting right now, right? Obviously, we've been playing around down here. And it doesn't mean that we have to bounce here, right? We could go lower. But again, just understand, we have previous highs here. This is a very, very important level. Now, once we start losing these levels, guys, that's where things get really sketchy because we do not want to get accepted back into this range because just like I showed you on that scalp short, right, where we got stuck under the value area high, went to the POC, went to the low, that same exact theory stands true on this larger volume profile that we have down below. Let me hide some of this stuff to clean up the chart for you. Let me hide the current. We'll hide this, right? If we do wind up coming down here, sure, this is all key support down here, but we start losing that POC, very high probability we come down to the value area low. And then at that point, right, hopefully we get some kind of a retracement from here or maybe even from where we're at now to kind of prepare for the bigger drop. But at the end of the day, guys, if we come in here to the value area low, is that the bear market? It's so hard to call, right? I say this, I've been saying this almost every live stream. At this point, the market would be down, 45%. And is that typical in a bull market? I wouldn't say it's typical. It's a little more than a typical pullback in a bull market. But again, has it happened before? Yes. Imagine being here and being like, that's it, guys. Wrap it up. We're down 55%. That's the bear market. Sell all your bags, right? And then you get the dead cat bounce of the century, right? Bringing you up to a technical all-time high to sweep the highs one more time before going into the actual bear market. So, we could see something like that happen, right? So it's just not as simple as saying the bear market is here. Obviously, you could pick a side, bear market's here or bear market's not here. You have a chance of being right either way. But in my opinion, at this moment, it's not really a high probability call in either direction until we have further confirmation on the charts, right? Because the charts never lie. The information never lies. Emotions lie. Influencers lie. People lie. Numbers and information and charts do not lie, right? So that's why I put most of my decision-making just into the charts. I don't care if I'm feeling bearish. More often than not, guys, I'll feel scared, right? When I get big dumps, I get nervous too. Not necessarily right now because, as I always say, right, my entries are very much lower, right? This is easy for me to endure, right? A lot of people are feeling pain because they bought up very high. But, I'm not saying I don't ever feel emotion when Bitcoin's dumping, right? Like, I don't want Bitcoin to go down just as much as the next guy doesn't. What? Right? Like, it's... But at the end of the day, right, most of the time my emotions are fighting against my TA. I feel super scared. I feel super bearish, right? Even down here during the bear market, I was super scared. There were so many bearish things happening here, right? Exchanges going down like this was the death of all crypto. But my TA was saying the opposite, right? So I don't want to act like I don't have emotion, guys, right? Like I feel the emotion, trust me. It's not about, kicking emotion out of your body or, your mind. It's about being able to feel the emotion and then also still act based off of your actual data, right? So, I was scared here. But when I start seeing money flow on the weekly in the red, when I start seeing weekly bullish divergences, the TA is telling me this is nearing a bottom, if not the bottom, which actually wound up being the case. But even if we dropped a little bit more, very likely this was getting near a bottom, even if we went lower. So, I'm scared. I don't want to buy. I felt like a moron buying down here. I was like, oh my God. Everyone's saying crypto's a scam. Oh my God. Right. But my data, my TA told me, look for a move up. And that's when I started dollar cost averaging in, really over here. But I was still scared. I felt the fear, guys. I was like, oh my God, is crypto really dead? I felt the fear. But, we look at the charts. We understand how the cycles work. We know Bitcoin goes up and to the right over time. And you just have to act on the information, right? I'm scared. The chart's bullish. That's why I buy. Doesn't matter what I feel. I could be happy, sad, scared, pumped, feel like I'm missing out. It doesn't matter. I only react off the charts. And it's not a perfect thing, right? It's not, sometimes emotions get the best of you, right? Even me sometimes. But, if you just stick to the charts, stick to the information, you're going to be guided in the right direction more often than not. Not 100% of the time, but more often than not. And that's really all you need to have an edge. Let's see. Yeah, shout out to Incognito, said, after 2022 bear market, I have no emotion left. Yeah, and listen, I know a lot of people who stuck with me through the bear market, right? I started my channel around here. I always say, right, my first real call was right here on the weekly blood diamond money flow crossing over. Everybody hated me for calling for massive downside in the start of the bear market. We wound up being right. I mean, I could have been wrong, but we wound up being right in that case based off the information. But I know a lot of people in this case started with my channel when they would say when we were mentioning going into a bear market, a lot of people are like, man, I bought the top. If we're going to a bear market, I bought the top. And I saw these Mafia members stick through the bear market, learn how to short the market and make money on the way down. And and they made it out on the other side, right? So if you just came into crypto and this is the all-time high, and we're going into a massive bear market, a traditional bear market, which again, I don't necessarily fall in that camp just yet. But if we do see something like that play out, guys, just understand this is the time to double down on your focus on crypto. Yeah, it's very common to see this happen, right? So, and then by the next bull market, you'll be emotionless, right? Or less emotional than you are now, which will help you in the next cycle. Let's see. Shout out to Amir. Said a lot of people are thinking it's going to 20 to 50 to 75 as the lowest option. Does not give good causes for retail psychology or consensus for retail psychology. Yeah, shout out to Amir. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Said Frankie taught me during those days. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Yeah, we got all the OGs, man. It's crazy, and I love when we were hitting 100K, like when we were very clearly in a bull market, which we have been in for some time. It's just so cool to sort of like, guys, we made it, guys. I told you we were going to come back at some point. I'm glad everybody's stuck with it, and just seeing people, coming at the top, stick through all the pain, and then see everything come out, or at least Bitcoin come out on the other side of it. Is just super cool, right? Let's see. Bada boom. Birthday tomorrow, so it will pump because everyone thinks the opposite. Shout out to XZ or XZeus. Shout out to you, bro. Yeah, pretty much. Just counter trade the herd, right? That's why I say, like, if we get a big pump up here, everyone's gonna be calling for all-time highs. I would be very skeptical, at least if the charts are saying to be skeptical. If we pump up and it's looking bullish and the charts are saying up, I will come up here and be like, yeah, guys, this thing's going. But very likely, if I had to guess, if we pump, everyone's gonna be super bullish, but they don't understand that the trend is likely to continue down. So you got to look for those lower highs. But again, we'll be able to, make somewhat of a more solid call depending on, hopefully it's not just complete mishmash up here. Hopefully we can get some kind of a clear signal to try to identify if we are going to go into that bigger bear market. Very similar to what happened back in 2021. Let's see. Total lunar eclipse last time happened November 8th, 2022. Yikes. Shout out to Sniper. Let's see. Bear market blues are coming. Shout out to Nico. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I am, listen, guys, if we go into a bear market at the end of the day, if you lost money, right? If we just go into a full bear market, there's never another altcoin season. And just know, guys, if we come down here and we play around, right, and everyone's just like, oh my God, it's a bear market, and we wind up taking off from here, altcoin season winds up happening, and we have a right translated cycle where the all-time high alt season comes in towards the end of the cycle, that's going to trip a lot of people up too, because they're going to think it's over, and no one's going to be ready for that rip to the upside. But if you lost a lot of money, you feel like you got scammed in crypto, just understand, if this is the top of the cycle and you came in as Bitcoin was approaching 100,000, right, take this as a lesson going into the next cycle. Do not come in when things are going up. Focus on these times, right? Research, learn during these times so you can get in at the right time and make some money, right? Don't feel bad about losing money, right? Like, take this as lessons and use these in the next cycle, right? If you're down on, super funky fart poop coin, remember that for next cycle, right? At the end of the day, to be honest, like, not a lot of altcoins were doing good, right? Other than like the super new coins that made new all-time highs. But other than that, I mean, like, real altcoin season never happened, guys. Like, it has not happened yet. It either has not happened yet or we're not getting one this cycle. But again, once we start breaking down into this range, that's where things get super suspicious for me personally. Let's see. Yeah, very possible. Shout out to Amir. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, like, everybody, everyone, right? Like, literally everybody just wants to know if it's going up or going down. Is the bear market here? Is the bear market not here? The market's just not that simple, right? If it was, everybody, it's the bear market, I would just put a super low leverage short in, stop above the high. I would loan money. I would take money out. I would just $1 billion short from here if I just knew, that's it. It's a bear market 100%, right? Like, and then that's it, right? Just make $1 quadrillion on the way down. It's just not that simple, right? Like, the market scares people. The market fakes people out, right? Like, you don't have to go much further than right here to figure that out, right? Oh my God, bear market. Boom, all-time high. Oh my God, bull market. No. Bear div on the monthly. Bearish divergence on social sentiment, right? Search term analytics spiked here, and they made a lower high here as price made a higher high, right? Bear div on the weekly, money flow crossover into the red, right? Everyone's like, oh my God, bull market. And it's like, I don't know. And then right here, obviously, it was very clear that we were going to get at least some kind of another drop to the downside. And although I was saying this was very likely going to be the start of the bear market, at the end of the day, guys, that could have just been wrong. And we could have held the value area low here and shot back up to all-time highs. But based off the cycles, based off the TA, that was a less likely situation. That was a less probable situation, which is why I call for the bear market, right? So it's never just like, oh my God, guys, that's it. We're definitely going into the bear market. It's always more of like weekly blood diamond, money flow crossing over into the red, monthly bear div, weekly bear div. Very probable that this could be the start of the bear market. It's never just a green light, red light, 100% guaranteed that you're going to get a big move to the bear market or the bull market, right? A lot of people get faked out. Oh my God, this is it. We're taking off. Nah. Oh, we're taking off. Nah. Oh, no, never mind. We're going to 3K. Oh, wait, hang on, right? Like, it's very, very hard. And that's why you want to have a long-term outlook on crypto, guys. You don't want to just be stuck trying to catch every single high and every single low. Anyone who comes to me, I've had friends that have a lot of money. They want to invest in Bitcoin, right? And they're just like, hey, man, I'm going to try to buy the lows and sell the highs and just build my bag up. And I highly push them against that. Like, listen, that is a losing game if you have not studied and practiced on how to read the charts and understand really how to spot the tops and the bottoms, right? And even then, it's a very risky game. If you just want to passively invest, you need to have a long-term outlook, right? At the end of the day, if this thing dumps down to 30K, I'm still in profit on my Bitcoin. I will buy more, and I will send that off into the sunset in the next cycle if we had to wait that long. But again, I'm just not ready to throw in the towel just yet, but I'm not going to sit here and say that it's guaranteed not over because that's just not the case. If you could pick a side, right? But in my opinion, it's just not right now. I think more downside is probably likely, but it just doesn't guarantee the bear market is here just yet. We have to assess the new information as it comes in. If you're not doing that, you are gambling. Let's see. People just don't want to put in the time to learn how to read. And just people don't want to put in the time to read the charts just accept people to give out all their secrets every single time. Yeah, shout out to Charlie. And even everyone's secrets don't know 100% where the market is going, right? But yeah, 100%. You have to put the work in, right? Like, and if that's not trading for you, right? Obviously, we're a trading channel, so we kind of. And here's the thing, right? I deal with this psychology multiple times a day on each individual smaller trades, right? So it's like, I have a lot of experience. I've seen things go up and down. I've gotten emotional 100 times in one day, let alone in cycles, right? It's all the same stuff. Price action's fractal, right? Like, so everything's the same. It's just on a higher time frame. But yeah, you have to put in time to learn how to read the charts. Everybody just wants to like get into I want to make 5K a day. I want to make $1,000 a day. I want to make 10K a day, right? But you can't do that without putting in the work, right? If it was that easy, everybody would do it. But it is 100% possible. And that's why I like coming up here, because I want to show you guys, like, this is possible. You can make money trading. It's not a scam, but it just takes time. And even when you get good at TA and you have a good strategy, it takes a lot of time to work out the emotion. And again, I don't want to say it's all about emotion. You need good TA. You need a good strategy. You need good setups. Those are 100% needed. But you can have the best setups, the best TA. If you got bad emotional control, if you have bad discipline, if you don't have good risk management, the best strategy and the best TA is never going to save you, right? You're still going to wind up losing money. But yeah, let's see. Join the Mafia and you can learn the secret sauce. Shout out to Rag Capital. Let's go. See you in the premium, bro. But yeah, it's, let's see. Let's see. We're going to the moon. Shout out to Adrian. Yeah, I hope so. That is my hope, right? I don't want anyone thinking that like I'm probably the opposite of a bear, right? Like, I'm saying bull market, bear market's not definitely in, right? But I know I am looking for lower prices, guys, but that does not mean that I'm just, again, it's so hard, right? Because like I got to come up here and give you realistic expectations. But, we could come down and it just doesn't mean a bear market, right? Like the markets are hard. But if you want to make money, you got to go through the pain. You got to learn like anything else, right? Like if you want to go to the gym, you don't just like go to the gym 3 times and get a 6-pack, right? You got to go for a long time before you start seeing results. It's the same thing with investing. It's the same thing with trading. It's the same thing with any skill that is worthwhile, right? Like it's hard to learn high income skills. It's hard to get a 6-pack, right? For most people, right? Some people are just naturally gifted. I don't think you could be naturally gifted to be a trader. And even if you were, I think when you're learning, you're still going to be very likely to go through some pretty big bumps on your journey. Let's see. Bull run can reinforce bad trading habits and bear markets make good traders. Yeah, shout out to Daniel T. I'll be honest. I actually enjoy trading a bear market better for some reason. I don't know why it is. Like, shorts are I just love shorts. They're just big drops. And I don't know. For some reason, I just favor shorts for some reason. But yeah, bull market, everybody's a genius, right? Like if you're trading the election, right, like, and everything's just skyrocketing, right, you could just kind of gamble. You'd be like, I think it's going to go back up. I think it's going to keep ripping. Just dump it up on a bunch of money, and then they make a bunch of money really fast, especially if they're trading with leverage. They think they know what they're doing, and they just got lucky. And, quickly those fast gains, those overnight gains very quickly disappear. Even if you hit money on a meme coin, right? You buy a meme coin at 100x's, whatever it is, you make a bunch of money. If you made that money, it was very much luck, right? Especially if it's a meme coin, right? You just buy a meme coin and whatever, it explodes, right? You didn't develop any skills to make that money, right? You basically just got lucky, which is fine, right? You still make the money. That's a great thing, right? I hope any of the meme coins that I hold, shout out to COQ, it's the only one that's up right now for me. I got in super early, but there's no real, right? I didn't buy COQ because the chart looked bullish, right? I just thought it was going to pump based off the AVAX narrative. And right now it's down a lot. It's still up a little bit. But, when you make that money, right, you did not get that money from learning a skill, right? Like you just basically got lucky. So to take all that money you just made, you have to protect that money, right? Because you can't just go allocate that into other stuff and think that like everything you buy you're just going to do it again, right? You would have to get lucky 10 other times. Otherwise, you're going to buy a bunch of stuff not knowing what you're doing, and you're going to lose all that profit. Right, so there's really no way around it unless you just hit it on the meme coin. You get lucky and you run away. Right, you put it into real estate, put it into stocks, whatever. Like put it into bonds, whatever. Safer stuff. Right, but you have to. What I do here on this channel is teach the skill of reading a chart so you can repetitively extract money from the market. Right, but that just takes time. You can do it. I thought it was impossible at one point too. I was in everybody's shoes at some point. Right, wondering like, oh my God, is this a scam? Is this ever gonna work out? I just keep getting wrecked. But it takes time. It's very, very hard. The daily bull div. Shout out to Charts Rider. Yeah, so again, like context is going to be 100% super important, right? This is another thing we looked at yesterday, right? So we have the bull div on the daily, which is nice, right? But this could continue us up, right? Like not only do we have the daily bull div, we have the 16-hour bull div, we have the 12-hour bull div, right? So you did have these that next drop to the downside. We put in some nice high time frame divs. But what is your money flow? Like even the 2-day, we were printing this little. I wouldn't consider this very significant, right? You have the 2-day bull div printing yesterday as well. But what is your money flow doing, right? Money flow indicates the overall trend, right? Crosses into the green over here, trend continues up. But look at this, you got a bear div on the daily. Look at this. Oh my God, bear div on the daily, bear div on the daily, and this is actually something we were looking at. Right? You might be thinking like, oh my God, we're going down forever. Oh my God. But look at money flow. Money flow is in the green. It just crossed over, right? And what happens? Higher low, higher high, right? So that daily bull div, like I said, could potentially give us a continuation up. But money flow is coming out. So it would have to be looked at as lackluster before turning around and coming back down, right? You can't, I wouldn't just be looking at a 2-day or a daily bull div as like that's the bottom, all-time highs incoming. At least when it's fighting money flow like this. If you had money flow in a deep red wave and it was about to cross over into the green, if the 2-day money flow looked like this with a bull div, that would call for a massive move up. But when you have the chart looking like this with money flow coming out, unless we fake money flow out, right, you come into the red, right back into the green, that would be potentially a possibility. But right now, like these bull divs with money flow in the red, I would still anticipate lackluster bounces, lower highs, and continuations down. Hopefully we don't, right? I pray that the TA is wrong there, right? I hope that we just, yeet off into higher prices. But like any daily bull div, 2-day bull div could give you the bounce, but I would still be looking at it as lackluster. A daily bull div is not just always going to mark like the absolute bottom for massive new all-time highs. Now, for example, let me see if I can. Yeah, here you had a little bit of a. Yeah, I would. You have the big wick here, but I'll try to find like a better kind of scenario. Let me come back over to a 2-day. Did we got a 2-day bull div here? No. Trying to find a situation where you have a bullish divergence. Whoops. Where you have the bull div and money flow coming up. Like, yeah, like for example, right, like this is, you kind of have to ignore these candles, but, let's just say, right, you have lower lows on your price, higher lows on your momentum waves, and money flow coming up. That's what calls for a massive move up. But when you have money flow fighting against, like this is the opposite of what you want to see for a massive move. So I would expect lackluster retracement. Until proven otherwise, right? We come up here, money flow fakes back out into the green, then we can reassess the situation. But as of right now, more often than not, something like this is going to look more like that rather than that. So take that for what it's worth. Let's see. I'm ready for good news, candles. Shout out to F1. We might bounce locally. That's the good news. There is still liquidity to the downside. Liquidity to the upside is far away. Yeah. Maybe I can pull up the let me pull up the liquidation heat maps real quick just so we can take a look at them. By the way, guys, if you want to see your favorite altcoins, go ahead and drop them in the chat. Rob the Crypto Snob. I think Rob's here today. Rob, if you're here, let's do like 2 alt requests. I'll take a look at XRP, Ethereum. We'll take a look at the big boys, and we'll do like 2 requests, maybe 3. And if Rob is not here, Darren, if you could do it. I think you're here. Shout out to Darren. Shout out to the mods, guys. Show the mods some love in the chat. But let's see here. Bada boom, bada bing. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. Let me just change some settings here. And I'm actually going to pull up a couple of different time frames here for the heat map. Come on. What is this? The 3-month. All right, so let me take a look at the 3-month. Take a look at the 1 month, and then I will also take a look at the 6-month. Run that. And yeah, we'll take a look at, I'll take a look at this. This is probably the best chart to look at. What is this? The 3-month. So yeah, I mean, when you look at this from a heat map perspective here, guys, still have, right? We took a little bit of the liquidity where we looked for the first long position up to the high, right? We got the rejection back down, and we start looking at this, and we're like, hey, we still have we only took a little bit of this liquidity. This was the big chunk down here that we were looking at originally when we were looking for a move into the golden pocket 786. And I will also hide these lower levels just to make it a little bit more clear, right? When you look at this, right? When we were up here looking for a move down here, why were we looking for that? Well, very simply, we had a ton of liquidity sitting down there and here, right? We sweep that liquidity, right? Then we bing bong around. We come down for the lower liquidity. We barely sweep into it. We get the push to the upside, which was clear manipulation. Get the move down, bing bong around. And on the next drop down, we know, right? We're like, hey, guys, we got the bounce, but we left a lot of liquidity down here. And what happens? You bing bong around, right? They trap some more longs, and then they stop them out, bring them back down to the liquidity, and it's right here. We still have liquidity sitting down here below the current low. And this is why I say if we wind up losing our... Let's come on down to a lower time frame. Right? If we do wind up, oh, there we go. Long continue to pay out here. But if we lose that 786, that liquidity is sitting right on down here. Bada boom, bada bing. Right? This is 76.5. 76.5. Right? Then liquidity acts as a magnet for price. And that's why I say with the way money flow looks, with all that liquidity living down here and the fact that we front ran all the key levels that we have down here as well, I would much rather, right, my favorable situation here would be lackluster high for another lower low. Maybe we can get a bounce here too, right? But eventually if we lose this, come sweep that liquidity into our key levels of support that were previously front ran, right? Daily naked point of control, weekly naked point of control, 786. Sweep out that liquidity. Come tap the key levels and send her on up, right? Maybe not all-time highs, but that is what I'd be looking for. Liquidity is indeed, I forgot who said it, shout out to you. Liquidity is indeed to the downside. We do have liquidity to the upside as well, but as they mentioned, it is farther away, right? This next major zone of liquidity, in my opinion, I can pull up a different time frame, but we have logo liquidity above 95K. We have a significant amount of liquidity above about 101K, right? And then even above 100K, that's 110K. This is above the all-time high. But yeah, really $100,000. We have a decent bit of liquidity sitting here. You can see it right here, 99.5. Up, significant liquidity brings you up to about 100,500. So that's what I would be looking at. This is looking like it's itching. She low-key looked like she's itching to come down here and sweep that liquidity. So just understand that. Let's see. Hey, shout out to Tails of Mystery. Thank you for the super chat. Said, hey, Frankie, join the premium. So excited to learn from you. Wish I knew you sooner. It's an honor, sir. Shout out to Tails of Mystery. It's an honor to have you, bro. Welcome to the CandleMafia. And I'm looking forward to seeing you. We'll have our premium live stream tomorrow. Hopefully you're in there. If you are, we'll say what's up. Shout out to you, brother. Thank you for being in there. I am holding, shout out to Steadybug, says I'm holding a large COQ position. Shout out to Steadybug. And TDK, thank you for the super chat, said, can you share your latest chart in Discord, please? Shout out to TDK. I do, you're in the premium, aren't you? You guys should, the premium, you guys should have access to my most current chart. I'll try to update it. It's not really much, not much has changed, but I'll reshare it to the premium if you guys, don't have it. Hopefully it didn't get messed up. All right, let's see. Hey, shout out to Stephanie. Thank you for can we check Velo Labs plead? I think it meant please. Shout out to you, brother. I can't tell by the profile pictures. They're too small. But yeah, shout out to you. Can we check Velo? Yeah, I will try to take a look at Velo. I will write it down. I will try, getting a little bit of a bounce. Let's check that long position. Bada boom. All right, there we go. Up 660. Just like that, baby. Just like that. There we go. We don't long for no reason. But let's see. H-bar. We can try to take a look at H-bar as well. Let's see. Velo. Super chats do not guarantee we look at your coin. I will try to take a look at Velo, obviously, but I just don't want anyone getting disappointed. Velo, I'll try to take a look at we'll try to take a look at H-bar as well, and we will obviously keep an eye on the Bitcoin price action if this keeps on pumping. Hopefully it does. Maybe we'll set some alerts so we can get alerted if it starts moving again. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, let's continue on. We'll keep an eye on this. 635, not too shabby. But yeah, let's go ahead. I'm going to jump into Ethereum real quick for you guys here. Shout out to Uncle Jesse. Super chats do not guarantee he'll look at them. Shout out to Jesse. Appreciate you, brother. Okay. Let's come on over to our other chart. Take a look at Ethereum. Okay, so yeah, Ethereum, honestly, not a ton has changed here, right? I think even this fib is the same. Yeah, we're just kind of bing-bonging around here, guys. Like rough trading, not even really rough trading. We're obviously scalping this within the ranges, but, key level on Ethereum to the downside. The next major key level, right? Obviously, we have to hold above this POC. If we break out of the value area, I would be looking at the golden pocket at about $2,000. 786 value area low is sitting between about $2,060 and $2,100. This could be something that we see. Right? All together. Obviously, Ethereum's absolutely crushed right now. And, here's a perfect example of like a little 2-day bullish divergence. Like it doesn't always mark the perfect low. You get the 2-day bull div here, and that green dot doesn't really do much for you, and you get a crush to the downside. Now, how could you have seen this coming? Well, very simply put, right? You have higher lows. Right? You have the lower lows on your price action, but what is your money flow doing? Right? You get a little pop to the upside, a lower high, continuation down. This is why we don't just trade bullish divergences. You have to keep in mind the full context of the market. But 2-day red dot confirmed, money flow still in the red. It still does not look the best to me in the long term to medium term. However, we are getting a little bounce off the POC here, but I would be very cautious of continued lower highs and lower lows. Next key level to the downside, very simply put, is going to be the value area low sitting at 1650, 786 sitting right below it at about 1569. I'm not saying that you have to come down here, but it would be more probable if we can't break out of this volume profile to lose the POC and come down to the low. I would feel better about taking a big long position on Ethereum if we can come down to 1572 to 1650. It's not a guarantee, but if we did come down here, I would be very, very, very interested in this level, right? And again, value area high here at 1942, POC at 1850, value area low at 1643, and then the 786 sitting down here at 1572. So, bing bong, bing bong. This is probably likely. The question is, are we going to go for a bigger retracement first and then get sucked back into the range? Impossible to predict this exactly. But if we take a look, higher time frames still look like we would put lackluster retracements in for lower highs and lower lows. And then if we come and take a look here locally, 30-minute money flow crossing back into the green, 1-hour money flow in the red. It's probably going to look very similar to Bitcoin here. Yeah, 16-hour red dot is looking to print. 12-hour red dot. That honestly, rolling over. It's not like about to print the red dot. Let's check the 8-hour. 8-hour red dot is looking to print as well. It's not as clear as Bitcoin, but I would watch this 8-hour red dot, 12 and 16-hour red dots with the 1 hour and 30-minute money flow. Not perfect setups. Honestly, it's kind of mishmashed here on Market Cipher B. Much more clear on Bitcoin. So yeah, kind of chopped up. But this is the major range I would look for. If we go for a bigger retracement, I would probably look for these levels. And then once you break above the value area high, you could potentially get accepted back into this range. But these are going to be your next big key levels of resistance on Ethereum. So there you go. Oh, man, I wish money flow was coming up in a huge way and I could just call for higher prices, guys. I really wish I could. So, yeah, if we do bounce, I would look for it to be a local retracement. Shout out to ChartsRider said, Frankie, I love you, but what about the CME gap and global liquidity that is pumping from 10 weeks? Shout out to ChartsRider. I'm not 100% sure exactly what you mean by that. CME gap, and we can look at the CME gaps. Something that I do pay attention to. To be honest, guys, I was in a really long meeting this morning, and it kind of went into the afternoon as well, so I haven't really... kind of looking at this stuff. Did the market update, did my analysis here, but I have not looked at the CME chart. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, even yeah, I mean, here's the thing, right? Like with CME gaps, we did fill this CME gap. I don't know exactly what CME gap you're talking about. We filled this one finally, which is nice. But yeah, this one is now filled. That's nice, right? It could be, right? We came down to the golden pocket, right? It's not that we cannot launch out of here. It's just money flow is not pointing towards that, right? And hopefully that example on Ethereum kind of showed you, right, that like a bullish divergence isn't always just going to send you to new all-time highs. If that money flow is fighting against you, more often than not, you're going to put in lower highs and lower lows, which we've seen here on Bitcoin as well. But yeah, I mean, if we honestly, losing the CME gap would be super bearish in my opinion, right? And then at that point, you're kind of testing that last zone of support that we have. And, this is why I always say I've been saying this forever. I do not want to lose the CME gap. I do not want to lose the 786. I'm okay with wicks, right? Or like quick drops and reclaims. But if we start breaking down below this level, it's like, hopefully we bounce here. If not, it could get really ugly really fast. But yeah, I don't know exactly what CME gap you're talking about, but this one is filled. But even like any gaps to the upside, like those could get filled before coming back down. Yeah, and even if we did have like a huge CME gap up here, it does not guarantee that it fills, right? Most of them do fill, right? Can't lie about that, right? Like this one down here, 19K, we come up, we come down, we fill it, send it to the upside, which would be kind of a bullish case here, right? We have the CME gap sitting here for quite some time. We come down, we fill it. Maybe that's where you get the next big leg up, right? Hopefully, right? Like even here, right? We come up, bing bong around, fill the gap, send it. And honestly, we do see that often. Fill the gap, send it. Right, fill the gap, right gap right here, fill the gap, send it, right? So, maybe we do. Maybe we fill the gap and send it. I would hope for that, right? Hopefully that is the case we see. Hopefully the money flow fakes out. But yeah, you need a bunch of stuff pointing in the right direction. We just really don't want to lose this level, right? Again, 70K, right? It could get really scary down here, but we really want quick reactions off those levels. Let's see. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Stop. Thank you for the alt list. I appreciate you, brother. Let's replace the pinned message here. Yo, shout out to Darren Does Things. Oh, we're halfway there. Mrs. Candles. We got to sniff the hand, guys. We haven't sniffed the hand today. Maybe we can get that continued pump to the upside. Yeah, the CME gap at 87. Shout out to ChartsRider. Yeah, I mean, let's see this real quick. Perfect area to get a bounce in for a lower high on a golden pocket 786 before a continuation down, right? It doesn't guarantee that will happen, right? But at least we know if we get that CME gap to fill, hopefully we can pump up there. That'd be really nice, honestly. But once you get up there, if you start getting those bearish confirmations here, it might just be that lower high and lower low. But if you start flipping this 786, this is why I like this actually. If you start flipping this 786 sitting at about $90,000, this gets you very close to your $91,000 macro or $91,000 value area low, right? So if you come in for that $87,000 CME gap, maybe you could kind of, creep up there towards about 90K. And, that would be like kind of stretching the bullish case. But again, I mean, at the end of the day, if I were looking for a bigger retracement here for a lower high and a lower low, again, it's not that we can't pump, right? I would expect some kind of even if we do come out here and break out, it would still just be like at 87K. That's a perfect place to put in a lower high and a lower low, in my own personal opinion. But we can assess the situation once we get up there, right? If we hit that golden pocket, it looks good. Maybe we can look to come up to the value area high. And if you look at that 786, beautifully confluent with that value area low. So, if the lower high doesn't come in here, we flip that 786 value area low, that would be potentially a ticket to about 97K, 98K. But we'll have to cross that bridge when we get there. So, yeah, I mean, listen, a lot of CME gaps fill. Not all of them do. I would say, I don't know what the actual percentage is. It seems like about 80% of them. But, yeah, shout out to Mrs. Candles. She doesn't come when I yell her name anymore, guys, because I asked her. I said, I've been screaming your name. How come you didn't come up and say what's up? And she said, you scream the whole time. I don't know you're yelling my name. I just drowned you out because you're screaming constantly. But let's see. Okay. Shout out to Hugo said, I think he said, I am a noob, but was looking at super rare and Moonwell charts yesterday. Shout out to Hugo's. CandleMafia's John Cena. Shout out to John Cena in the chat, baby. Let's get it. Can we check money flow on Precious Cam gaps to the downside? Shout out to Charts Riders. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that. But if you clear it up, I'll try to take a look at it for you. As long as shout out to Slava. Anyway, let's continue on. Okay, let's take a look at, we took a look at Ethereum. Let's see what else we got on the list here. Take a look at XRP, Ondo. We got some good stuff on the list here. Let's take a look at XRP. I haven't really been sticking on, I haven't really been spending a lot of time on the altcoins, guys, just because I've explained this a lot, right? Especially recently, right? When we take a look at Bitcoin dominance, I am not interested in altcoins right this second. Now, if you buy now, are you buying at a much better price than buying on the massive green candles? Absolutely. But for me personally, guys, hopefully this was the top for Bitcoin dominance. But as long as we remain inside this volume profile, there is a possibility that Bitcoin dominance can shoot back up towards that POC or maybe even the 786. I won't even mention the value area high just yet. But I am going to wait until one of three things happens. We lose the golden pocket value area low. This could be an area where we're looking at altcoins saying, hey, if this is going to be the breakdown of Bitcoin dominance, that would be potential altcoin season starting. Or if we come up and approach another key level of resistance, being the POC or the 786. So until Bitcoin dominance starts rejecting out of this range, loses the golden pocket, or retests these key levels of resistance, that is where I'm paying attention to altcoins more seriously, right? Because there's no reason, in my opinion, unless you're slowly dollar cost averaging in, right? You don't just want to jump into altcoins because they're down, right? They can bleed more. If Bitcoin goes to 70K, the altcoins are going to feel that, right? Unless Bitcoin dumps and dominance dumps at the same time, which I guess is a case that could potentially happen. But until one of those conditions are met, I am kind of sitting on the sidelines with altcoins. I'm holding some dry powder on the sides in case we do see the signal to start buying into some alts. But I'm not trying to be early to the party, or at least too early. I'm not trying to be too early. I want to be early. I don't want to be too early, right? You don't want to be the last one to the party, but you also don't want to be the guy sitting outside waiting for them to open the doors. Let's see. All right. So BTC will pump. Shout out to XZeus. Yeah, I think that's the only thing that you could say for 100%. Bitcoin will pump. When and exactly how is the hard thing to answer. Bitcoin will pump, guys. I can promise you that. At some point, Bitcoin will 100% make new all-time highs. Bitcoin will hit $1 million. I confidently think Bitcoin will hit $1 million. I just don't know exactly when that will happen. In the next 10 years, I think would be very likely. 15 years. But we'll see. Okay, so let's take a look at XRP real quick. And on XRP, let me just get my bearings here. So, yeah, we had the fib pull from the high to the low. We came up, tried to test that golden pocket. I mean, hey, guys, we're just rotating the volume profile. These are the same levels we've been looking at on XRP for quite some time. We deviate above the high, into the golden pocket, right? Or not into this golden pocket, but into the value area high. This golden pocket was not there at the time. We actually had a local golden pocket that we were hitting, but value area high, deviate above, back in, back to the POC, lose the POC, back down to the value area low. Lose the value area low, deviate below that value area low. This is looked at as a cheap asset relative to the recent price action. This is where you want to be looking for longs, not necessarily buying the dip forever, right? Like for massive long-term gains, but this is what's looked at as relatively undervalued. This is where we look for longs to flip that value area low to support. Once you hold that value area low, you look to work your way up into the POC of the range, flip that POC. / golden pocket retracement. I would be careful around this. Obviously, XRP has been holding up pretty good here, right? We're just kind of just still within our range. Very, very nice, right? Deviate below the low, get back in, flip it to support, POC, value area high, deviation, back in, back to the POC, back to the high, lose the POC, back to the low, flip it to support, looking for that POC. So locally, golden pocket POC confluence sitting at 235, between 235 and 241 is going to be the next key level of resistance, right? If we get above that POC, you have your 786 honorable mention here. No confluence on this level, but 248. Once you get above here, break above that 786, you would just look for the fulfill that volume profile. So range on XRP remains exactly the same. And it's nice that we've been looking at this because we saw the deviation below the low, bullish divergences at the low. You know, more often than not, you're at least going to get a retracement to that value area low. Once you flip it to support, that's where you can look for a flip to that POC. So I would just be treating this as a typical volume profile with your key level being at 214. Next key level of resistance sitting here between 236 and 241. Flip that. Look to work your way up to the value area high. So just looking to bing, bong around in the same old range. Money flow trying to cross over into the green on the 2 hour. Take a look at the daily. Daily bullish divergence is confirmed, but again, money flow is in the red, right? Now, I hope that this money flow fakes out and gives us a big move up. That would be great. But I'd be careful with that money flow. Money flow coming in the red, potential lackluster retracement for a lower high and a lower low. Whether that comes in, just deleted that fib by accident. There we go. Right, so if we do wind up getting a continued retracement, we don't know if that lower high is going to come in between this fib retracement or this fib retracement, but these would definitely be the first levels I'd look at, right? And again, just looking at it from a volume profile perspective. And just to give a little insight on that for anybody who's looking to learn, right? If I were long here, which I'm not, I'm long on the value area low on Bitcoin, but not on XRP. But if I were long here, this is exactly how I would handle this, right? A lot of people charge for this. I would look, right, depending on where your entry was, maybe you got in below the value area. But if you were long from value area low, next TP would be the POC / golden pocket. And then once you get above that, I'd target the value area high. Once I get above that value area high, right, and start deviating above, this could be where we start to look for bearish confirmations, right? Once you get accepted back into the range, get accepted below that value area high, look to go to the POC, lose the POC, go to the value area low, right? And then that's how you get in a situation where you're able to short the bottom, long the bottom, and then short the top. And then you would look for the same thing, right? You know, once you get accepted into this range, there's a high probability of going to the POC and then losing the POC and going to the value area low. So you catch that nice little single to the upside, catch a nice little double to the downside. And if this higher time frame money flow, like the daily coming out or even the 2-day money flow coming out, if that's going to give us a bigger drop to the downside, you can take partial profits at the POC, take partial profits at the value area low, and then move your stop loss to break even, making it a guaranteed winning trade. And if you get the bigger breakdown, you're short from up here, and you let that continue to pay you out, and you just look for the next long setup. And that's why I love trading these volume profiles, and you can see how well they are respected. This range is pulled from back here. These levels are not even like relevant. They're relevant, but they're not even pulled from over here. They're pulled from over here. And this range was respected. Value area low, POC, value area high. We broke out. We came back in, respected again. Go back to the high, back to the POC. Deviate above the high, get stuck back in. POC, value area low, deviate. Bullish divergences. Get back into the range, flip it to support, back to the high, deviate, right? So on and so forth, right? This is how we're able to, and you can see it's not perfect, right? We came pretty high up here, right? But you can see how well these ranges are respected. This is how we make our money here, right? This is our earned income trading these ranges, right? And then we roll that back over into other crypto assets that hopefully one day will go back up. Let's see. Shout out to Uncle Jesse, said, I don't have premium. It's too expensive for me, unfortunately. Shout out to Jesse. Well, we'll have to get you that giveaway then. We'll have to root for you on tomorrow's giveaway. Let's see. I used to short the bottom and long the tops until I found Frankie. Shout out to Coin Hoover. Let's go, baby. Let's go. How's the wife, Coin Hoover? How's the wife? Doing good? I hope so. Shout out to Coin Hoover. Yeah, I used to short the bottoms and long the tops too. It took me years of, unfortunately. Hopefully, everyone else's trading journey, especially if you learn from me and learn from my mistakes, hopefully I can make your trading journey a little bit less painful than mine was. But I was shorting the tops. I was shorting the bottoms and longing the tops for a long time, guys. I literally got bored. It wasn't even the fact that I was in pain because I was losing money. I just got bored of losing. I was just like, this is pathetic. I'm such a consistent. I was losing on such a consistent basis that I just figured that if I could lose this consistently, there's got to be something I can do to win more consistently. And it was hard because I wasn't even bad at the TA. It was really just my trade management was just completely out of whack. I was just praying that I was going to become a millionaire in 5 seconds on one trade. It's not how it works, right? You can get rich trading, but it is a get rich slow game. But the beautiful thing is, if you're willing to put in the time, if you're willing to put in the pain, and you have the discipline to learn the skill, it will pay you out 100-fold. Now I get to make money from anywhere in the world, right? Even though I just stay in the studio and make YouTube videos. But if I wanted to, I can go make money from anywhere in the world, right? I just enjoy working all the time. That's just, I don't know. I'm just born. I was born like that. I just like to work. I enjoy what I do. But if I really wanted to, I could just go travel and, trade, right? Which is super cool. But it took a long time to get here. Trust me. I wish you guys could see me when I was getting wrecked. But yeah. Shout out to Ken Barkov, said, let's go, Frankie, spread the sauce. Shout out to Ken. Welcome in, bro. But let's see. Want to give away last week, but I can't join the Discord. If I click on it, it says user is banned. Shout out to Bad Doggy. You definitely weren't banned in the Discord unless you were a bad doggy in the Discord. We do have policy in the Discord. But I don't know. If were never in there and you're banned, that is very strange. I don't know why that would be happening. But let's go ahead and take a look at our next altcoin, which is going to be Ondo. We're moving on to Ondo. Bada boom. Let's check out. Let's see. Actually, do I have an Ondo chart? I think I have an Ondo. Probably this one. All right, here we are. Hey, yo, Sin City in the chat. Yo, we got to play a jackpot for Sin City. Let's go. Shout out to Sin City. Welcome in, guys. Thank you for hanging out here. Said CandleMafia, hope you're all doing well. Frankie, what's your... That was I don't know why that was so delayed, that sound effect. But shout out to Sin City. Welcome in, guys. Good to see you in here. I said, I hope the Mafia is doing well. Frankie, what is your if ETH hits this level, I'm throwing the house at it target? Shout out to Sin City. Great question, guys. Great question. To be quite honest, assuming that we're not just going to go into a bear market and ETH is going into new all-time lows, I will tell you this. For me personally, not financial advice, but if we could get back down to the bottom of this value area low, 786, sitting right here, Sin City, 1645 to 1568. I'll be honest, I'm actually tempted to dabble in a little bit of spot Ethereum right now. I have not yet, right? I like to be transparent. I have not bought any spot Ethereum yet, but I will say, if we drop down here, I am 100% buying a little bit of Ethereum. If it winds up being just another lackluster support before nuking down to back to, I don't know, bear market lows, maybe, I don't know. But if that is the case, I'm willing to take the risk here. I will just buy more lower. I know a lot of people think ETH is dead. I'm willing to bet on it, right? And sometimes you lose a bet, and that's okay with me, right? I'm not going to risk money I can't lose, obviously, but I'm willing to buy down here. I'm honestly almost willing to buy up here. Not really willing to buy other altcoins, but for Ethereum, I'm looking to hold Ethereum long term, right? So if I buy a little here, it dumps back here, I'll buy a little bit more. But if we come in down here, I am for sure going to buy this. I'll also be looking for pretty big longs. It really depends. Shout out to Sin City. Depends on what the charts look like down there. To be honest, looking at some of the higher time frames, 2-day money flow crossover, I do think there could be more pain coming in. If we come down here, I'm very interested, assuming it doesn't look like total garbage, which I don't know. What's the case if we lose this level? Quite honestly, let me pull up a clean ETH chart real quick. Right? If I were just to look at this as the end of the world situation for Ethereum, right? Get rid of the anchored VWAP. Actually, I'm going to pull up some anchored VWAPs. Shout out to Sin City. Actually, this is, I kind of, yeah, we've lost the bear market anchored VWAP. This is not great. As a matter of fact, if we get a retest of some kind, probably, yeah, if we get a retest of some kind into, 2100, but, oh, man, this looks somewhat likely to me. If we get a retracement with the way money flow looks, this could be the area to put the lower high in, right? Get back below the anchored VWAP. Definitely a key level here, but, if we really break down in a massive, massive, massive way, I mean, what's the worst case scenario for Ethereum? I mean, adding to the $1,600 to $1,500 mark. Was I saying 15,000 before? That's crazy if I was. But between $1,500 and $1,600 is not only your value area low, right? 1650 to the 786 at about 1,600, right? It's the local value area low, macro 786 Fibonacci retracement. To put this into perspective, pulled from a bear market low to the current high. This is like pulling a fib on Bitcoin from like bear market lows to the 2019 highs. And what happened when Bitcoin went back down to test that 786 during the capitulation in 2020? Went for that 786, slipped it slightly, came back up, bull run, baby. So when it comes to Ethereum, not only do you have the POC of your overall bear market range at 1,600, you also have that local value area low and the macro 786. So I'll just pull this. I'll pull this on this chart as well, right? So, just to explain a little bit why I like this level, right? It's not just like, oh my God, Bitcoin, Ethereum's at $1,500, I have to buy it, right? Like this has to do with obviously technical reasons, right? So POC, macro 786, 1560 to 1642, which obviously is very close to what we just looked at here on the local range, right? 1642 down to 1575. So, not only is it the local value area low, it's the macro 786 and your macro POC. Something like this isn't impossible, right? Boom. But locally, right? Not locally, but in the current, more immediately, right? If you look at this, it's not great looking because, this is why I'd be willing to potentially wait for these lower levels because at this point, we've gotten, we tried to hold the value area low, the value area high once, twice, and once you get stuck under that value area high, guys, we know more likely than not, come in, bearish retest, you start dropping down. And obviously we came to the POC of the local range, but if we look at it from a higher time frame perspective, we're below the value area high. If we can't break back out of here, probably going to go to that POC. And I don't really like trading from the middle of the POC, but for a macro situation like this, as long as the world is not falling apart, as a matter of fact, even if the world is falling apart, that might be what we need to get down here. It's a big level. It's a real big level for me. So yeah, that's probably my all-in level. And if I were to buy in here or take a long here, get stopped out of it. But if you buy spot here, you're just back down to bear market lows at that point, right? So definitely a huge level. And then value area low for honorable mention, 1,300, definitely in the cards. But, I mean, at that point, right, you break, what are we just going to break the 2022 bear market lows? I don't want to say it's impossible, but those are my areas of interest. So simple answer, definitely sitting here between 16 and 1,500 if you want just like a general zone. But the exact levels are 1642 down to 1571. So shout out to Sin City. There's my answer. I don't know if you expected all that. But there you go. That is exactly why I'd be looking at those levels. It's not just one level. It's not just two level. It's not just one context. It's many things coming together. But again, we do need that weekly money flow to come into the green, right? Because this is more bear market looking than anything. So now Ethereum does, dip into the red sometimes a little bit more than Bitcoin, right? Like even over here on our way up, dip into the red, back into the green. Right here, dip into the red, back into the green. So it's a little bit, money flow is a little bit more volatile, obviously, on the altcoins. Bitcoin's pretty clear, right? Like Bitcoin weekly money flow crosses into the red, bear market, right? At least that's how it's been so far, right? Weekly money flow in the red, bear market. Weekly money flow crosses into the red, bear market, right? So Bitcoin's very clear. Ethereum, it kind of ping bongs around, right? And that's why it doesn't really scare me too much. But it's definitely not a good sign. So, hopefully we bounce here. If not, that's my zone. Shout out to Sin City Crypto. Thank you for tuning in, guys. I appreciate you. Hopefully you guys are doing well. And hopefully we could see you at the Bitcoin conference. I would love to. But yeah, let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Yeah, it's only 15% down from where we are. Shout out to Fabian. Yeah, that's why, I'm kind of tempted kind of tempted to maybe take a little bit of a buy on Ethereum soon. But again, I would probably wait. I've not bought yet. I don't want anyone to think it's like the signal to buy Ethereum. But yeah, let's see. Bitcoin taking a little push to the downside here, but money flow continuing up here on the 12-minute. 4-hour VWAP trying to roll back over. We'll see. Just a little bit of volatility. Did we come into to our key levels is the question. Where we at? Okay, yeah, so trying to get on top of that POC. Will she lose it? Will she lose it? Let's see here. It is 1,000 degrees in this studio right now, guys. I'm not going to lie. Daylight savings is great, but not for a cool room because the sun just bakes this room. It's kind of ridiculous. Yeah, money flow coming up on the 7-minute. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on this. Got a little turbulence here. Money flow generally coming up here on the lower time frames, though, so maybe we can squeeze a little bit more out of this long position. Again, I do have up 588, but yeah, hopefully I do have a little bit more. I have more confidence in the short playing out in the medium term. This is just a local scalp long, but we'll see what happens. Maybe we just close it right now for $588. Should we just let the Mafia pick what we're gonna do? Let's see. We've done that before. It always winds up with everyone tell me to take profit, which I love to hear out of the Mafia. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, we're too correlated with the stock market. I mean, yeah, we do, 100%, right? Like if the stock market, if we do not see the Fed cut rates or, we need the looser monetary policy, right? And that's why I always say it's not as easy as just calling for the bear market immediately, right? Because it can look super bad, and then all of a sudden they start cutting rates and things start taking off, right? Like, there's a lot of things we have to pay attention to. It's I wish it was that easy. I really do. Let's go. Shout out to Codon. Said, I just closed my long for $2 in profit. Let's go, brother. Congratulations. Shout out to the watch guy. Hey, shout out to the watch guy. We did take a look at XRP. If you just scrub back just a tiny bit, you will see that you could go check out all the TA on XRP. But let's take a look at Ondo. We got distracted on Ethereum, but let's go ahead and take a look at Ondo. All right, let's see here. Want to look at the actual Ondo chart. Boom. All right, so let's take a look here. So, all right, so, yeah, Ondo, what's that weekly candle look like? Closing the weekly candle above 85. Closing the weekly candle above 85 cents would be really nice. However, I would also like a close above 89. Almost 90 cents. I don't know if we're going to get it. That would be really nice. But if we can close above this 786 on the weekly, I would like that very much, because if we don't, it's probably going to show for a bigger move into this lower range, right? We've already come in here. And let me just update this a little bit. I'm going to take this off. Well, actually, I'm going to leave that blue box, because if we do hold it on the weekly, that is going to be an area where we would have looked. We would hope that we can bounce. Let me see something here. Just going to pull this. Let's change some of these levels here. Let's get rid of this. So, yeah, I'll just give you the key levels to the downside. I mean, we've already come down to this POC, got the reaction. Really what you need is to hopefully get a pretty quick pump up here above the 786, above the value area low, again, between 85 and 90 cents. That would give us a bigger push potentially through this profile. Oh, I was wondering what that line was. It was the POC. Hopefully we can get above here. Honestly, it's not even that, man, because if you get above this value area low, you're just going to slam into that POC. So really you want to get above about 95 cents. And then you could look for the move up between about $1.01 and $1.10. Get above there. At that point, you're pretty much expecting to fill the volume profile. It's going to be a journey, much more likely than not. And that's if we can get up in here. If we can't get up in this profile, guys, we are more likely going to get accepted into the value area high of the previous range, suck down towards that POC, 73 cents, lose that POC, look down towards that 65 cent value area low. Those are, simply put, the key levels I would be looking at. Looking at Market Cipher B, take a look at the daily money flow still in the red. You do have a pretty significant daily bullish divergence here. Massive lower lows. Pretty nice higher lows on your momentum waves. giving you the higher probability of a continuation up. However, fighting against money flow, you would have to be careful of lower highs and lower lows coming in. So, it would look a lot nicer if this money flow was curving up, but it is simply not. Taking a look at the 2-day. Yeah, I mean, but that 2-day money flow, looks the same as everything else. I'd be very cautious on the pushes to the upside right now until this money flow crosses back into the green on almost everything on the 2-day. So there you go. That's what I'd be looking at on Ondo. Let's see. All right, let's take a look at H-bar. Let's take a sip of that black coffee. It's not black coffee. I'd be lying to you guys if I said this was black coffee. Anyway. Probably shouldn't be drinking coffee here at 7:30 p.m. But, hey, it is what it is. Shout out to Eileen Ulick featuring Wick 589. Shout out to Wick. Said, when the worm moon dances, the market will dance with it, and it'll dance like this. Shout out to Wick 589. I don't know what that even means. Shout out to Wick 589. Hopefully the worm moon dances tonight. I hope that happens. Shout out to Wick 589. RIP sleep quality. Yeah, shout out to shout out to Say. I don't sleep, guys. I don't sleep. I can't sleep. My mind goes a million miles a minute. If anybody out there is a sleep doctor, please email bizdev@frankiecandles.com. I need help sleeping, guys. I don't sleep. I go to bed and I just lay there. I get off my phone. I just sit there and I just got millions of thoughts running through my mind. It's low-key torture. I hate it. I'm actually, full transparency, I seriously struggle. I've recently been struggling with that, guys. I can't sleep for the life of me. It's so bad. But anyway, shout out to Gen Z, said Ondo and H-bar RWA that you must hold. Not financial advice, it is. Shout out to Gen Z. Yeah, I like H-bar and Ondo. Absolutely. I hold both of them as well. Long melatonin, baby. Frankie Candle's about to pick up a truckload of melatonin. I don't know what it is. I think I might go to a sleep doctor or do a sleep study because I'd be popping melatonin like they're M&Ms, and it just doesn't do anything. My body just pushes through it. It's crazy. I don't even drink that much coffee anymore. I used to drink 7 cups a day. I drink 2 to 3 cups a day, which I guess is a lot for some people. But I slept better when I was drinking 7 cups a day. I'm not going to lie. So I don't know. I just eat melatonin. Mrs. Candles is like, just take melatonin. It'll knock you right out. I'm popping double the dose that I'm supposed to take, and I'm just thinking a million. I see charts in my brain. It's crazy. Shout out to Jennifer, said, do it. You might have anxiety and too revved up at night. Jennifer, the only thing I can think of, when I sleep good, it is not tied to the amount of caffeine. I do think maybe doing the live streams every at this that's not late, but getting off the live stream, I get off at 7:30 right about now. I try to wind down, but then I'm on the charts. I'm in the Discord a lot of the time at night. It's and even if I'm not in the Discord, I'm usually in the charts. It's I'm also I do a lot of other work that I don't have time to work on during the day at night. So it's I just got a lot going on, man. I wish I had more hours in the day. Anyway, but yeah, let's continue on here. Let's take a look at H-bar. This is not a Frankie Candles sleep study. All right, let's take a look at H-bar here. All right, well, let's see. We have some random arrows drawn on the charts here, and you guys can see that it's not following either of them. I'm just kidding. This is obviously not meant to be predictive, but I guess it is kind of meant to be predictive. But the idea there, obviously, is, hey, if we hold this value area low with support, we look to go to the POC and the high. If we lose it, we're probably headed down here. If we could lose this key level, get rid of these brushes, right? If we could lose this key level, 786, still your key level on H-bar, so where we looked at recently, right here, 17 cents, right? Bada boom, lose 17 cents, drop on down to the value area high, 15 cents, lose the value area high, going down to that POC, right? So, I honestly don't even really mind H-bar playing around below the volume profile as long as we don't lose this 786. The problem is we've already bounced off this 786 once, twice, almost 3 and 4 times, right? The more times you tap a level, right, the more likely it is to break down. So this key level is less significant than it was back here before it was tapped, right? Now, if we come down here, could you bounce from it? Yes, but in my opinion, you lose this, probably headed down here to your 15-cent value area high. Get stuck in here. POC at 13 cents, lose that. Value area low at 12 cents. not the most beautiful thing to look at. So yeah, I mean, we lost the value area low. That's step one. Next, you got to bounce here. If you don't, I'm looking down towards those next levels. Pretty simply put, we take a look at the 2-day. I don't want to be, again, 2-day money flow coming out, same as everything else, right? That money flow crosses over into the red. We are going to be anticipating lower highs, lower lows. Is that going to be a lower high into lower lows in a massive bear market? Or is it, again, like the exact scenario playing out here is very, very difficult, right? And very likely it's going to be super confusing. It's going to be super, when things rip, it's going to be a shock. When things dump, it's going to be a shock, right? I don't think a lot of people were expecting, right? I think a lot more people, and to be honest, guys, like on H-bar, that's about it, right? Like levels remain the same. They just gave the key levels, but money flow coming out, not the best sign for the continuation up. So if we do get a bounce, you really need that money flow on the 2-day to come back to the upside. Your 3-day, 4-day red dot printing. I mean, hey, your 4-day money flow is crossing into the green. You have a fresh red dot. I mean, at the end of the day, guys, like H-bar relative to the massive move that it got up, the massive move that we got to the upside since November, right? Like this pullback, right? We got a 900% rip to the upside with a 55% dump to the downside. So sometimes you have to look at this in the grand scheme of things, right? Like a lot of people might be like, oh my God, my H-bar is getting brutalized right now. Your H-bar is, like, to be honest, right? Like your H-bar is really only getting wrecked if you literally bought the top, right? And as I always say, I know it sounds like ridiculous, right? Because like it sounds so obvious. Don't buy the top. But you don't want to buy any of these big green candles, guys, right? Like, if you were buying H-bar during the bear market, right, you were still massively up, right? If you bottom ticked, you're still up 370%. If you mid-ticked here, you're still up 130%, right? So relatively, H-bar is kind of holding up somewhat nice here. So keep that in mind. 4-day money flow crossing into the green, but I would be careful here with the 2-day money flow coming out. Doesn't look as bad as a lot of other stuff that we looked at, but yeah, definitely sussed by this 2-day money flow. But yeah, shout out to Creighton C. Thank you for the super chat, bro. I appreciate you. Let's see. He says, got a Mitsu. Shout out to Creighton. Said, got a Mitsubishi split for the room. Say Mitsubishi? Shout out. Oh, get a Mitsubishi split for the room. Keep you nice. I'm thinking a car. Creighton. He's talking about an air conditioner. Get a Mitsubishi split, I guess is the name of the AC, for the room. Keep you nice and cool. Also does heat for the winter for sleep, meditation, yoga, no PC, 4 hours before bed. Go for a walk alone at night and just breathe and NyQuil. Shout out to Creighton C, bro. That is low-key fire advice. I'm a big walker. When it's warm out or when it's not freezing out, I go for a walk almost every single day for about 2 hours. Walking, which I guess kind of doubles as meditation. I'm actually a big walker. Maybe that's why I can't sleep, because it's been cold out and I haven't walked in a while. I got to get back to walking. Maybe that's why I can't sleep. I got too much pent up energy. Let's see. But yeah, shout out to NyQuil might be the next stop for me, because I'll tell you what, melatonin ain't cutting it. But yeah, 4 hours of no PC before bed. That's going to be a struggle. Shout out to Creighton. But Dr. Creighton prescribed it. So I'm going to try to, I'm going to try to stick to that, Creighton C. I'll report back to you in a week. I'm going to walk tonight. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for more walks now. See if that helps. Have kids. They'll tire you out. Shout out to Jennifer. Yeah. Mrs. Candles, we got to pop out some kids. She doesn't hear me anymore, so I can say whatever I want. She comes busting through the door. Let's go. Shout out to Mrs. Candles. I just start sniffing her hand. We have to pull the thumbnail up. Anyway, guys, with all that being said, we're getting carried away here. But guys, that's all the time I got for tonight's live stream. Let's see, $81,074 for Bitcoin as we continue to kind of, bing bong around. I'm holding the scalp long. I'm holding the short from the high. Remember, guys, my favor is to the downside here. I do have more faith in that short, but I'm looking at that long as a, I'll even pull up the chart here really quickly. I just want to be very clear about how I'm handling this, right? Because I don't want anyone thinking hey, Frankie's long, right? Long it to the moon. I am definitely looking at this as more of a retracement to the upside, right? Like my short, I am expecting the short to play out continuously, right? This long is just to capture a little retracement to the upside. If it continues to rip up, I'll stop out of the short at break even at this point because I have not taken profit. I probably will. So very likely I'll get stopped out of profit in that. And then the long will continue to run. Very similar to what happened to my long position from here, just to break it down. Bada boom, right? Long position from here. Got stopped out in profit, right? There's the short. And here's the long, right? Grab some profit right around here, I believe, right? Then we ripped up to the value area high, took some more profit, and then I stopped out, right? Moved my stop loss into profit. We came down, stopped out, and then the short continues to pay us out, right? It's the same situation. Right now, I'm long from here. I don't have the range pulled anymore, but I'm long from about here, right? Into the POC. If we can get a continued retracement, great. But if we do come out, which I would anticipate more than likely, even if we come up more, I will stop out of that long at some point, right? My goal is to get stopped out in profit and then just have the short continue to pay us out, right? So you can be long and short at the same time, right? It's all about context. I'm longing this, right? And then holding the short for a bigger move down. And remember, the line in the sand right now, guys, the biggest level of support is right down here. I just deleted it by accident. 786, 782. We lose this. That's where I think we sweep that lower liquidity into the key levels of support. If you missed the Bitcoin TA, go to the beginning of the stream. We break everything down in perfect detail for the Candle Mafia. But with all that being said, guys, that's all the time I got for tonight's live stream. I will see you guys tomorrow right here, same place, same time. Pray for Bitcoin. Shout out to Gen Z. Shout out to I'm just going to say Big Trump. Shout out to Big Trump. Shout out to Eugene. Shout out to Creighton C. I'm going to go for a walk, and I'm going to maybe stop off at CVS and get some NyQuil. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to DoorDash the NyQuil. But shout out to Creighton C. Shout out to Gen Z. Shout out to Big Trump. Shout out to Eugene. Shout out to Uno. Says, is ICP worth it? I hold a little bit of ICP. Not financial advice, but I hold it. Take that for what it's worth. Now, where to buy it is the real question. But shout out to Smoking Wrench. Shout out to Hugo's. Shout out to Shifting Baseline. Thank you guys for being here. Shout out to Jay Violet. Shout out to Jesse. Shout out to the mods. Thank you guys for being here. Smash that like button on your way out. And yeah, pray for Bitcoin, guys. If we get the drop down, we'll be back at you tomorrow on the live stream with hopefully that short in big profit. So yeah, let's see. Go for a drive. Driving gets me tired. Shout out to Gen Z, bro. I like to drive too. Bro. Driving is like another form of meditation. Not gonna lie. But with all that being said, guys, I will see you here tomorrow. Same place, same time. I gotta go. I hear Mrs. Candles. Oh, she's saying something about kids, but I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Coach, what's next for me, Joe? I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the is it? They should have had them two bells ready. Space shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, thought they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up from my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working, I'm up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal